Welcome back to the shop. It's 11th of February, and at least I'm a few steps up from where I was. Getting in with the concrete blocks that you can still see sitting back here, and started on the short pieces of the board and battens. Worked a crazy number of hours straight the last couple weeks, so first full day I've really had. Back out here. Back at it again on later tonight probably, and then off tomorrow and back on work on Tuesday. Hey, welcome back to the shop. I got some outside long wide boards on the back here. Sorry for the flip there. And these two right here, they're the last two widest boards I have, the 9.5 inch boards. You can see I've got a couple of narrow ones there in between the windows. And then I need some 5s and some 7s to fill in there where the 9.5s, after the 9.5s are up, and then I've got a whole bunch of little pieces below the windows and above the windows. And then all the way across, I've got like the 43 inch pieces that are the same length as the other walls. Almost there. Got a lot of infrastructure put together inside the shop too. We'll take a look at that. I might not record that tonight. As you can maybe tell, it's getting kind of dark out and it's a little cloudy. I think it's going to rain tomorrow. This is Friday, like I said, the 31st. So Saturday it looks like it's going to rain. So I'm trying to get what boards I have inside up tonight. Maybe I can do a little bit more in the morning. I might not. I got plenty to do inside, so we'll take a look inside here in a little bit. All right, so now I need two 4.5 inch pieces, one for each side. So here we are in the shop. I went and bought a couple of more roller stands. There's one on each side of the radial arm here. And I got the table saw set up with its auxiliary fence. Fun story about that. The bolts that go in here screw into the table here. I didn't know what threads they were. Quarter 20 is always a good guess, and they're definitely going to be imperial because it was from the 1940s. So I also had an M6 bolt. Now the quarter 20 would go in about a thread or maybe two, but not very far. So I was pretty sure that the quarter inch was right, but that the 20 threads to the inch was wrong. More than likely it's a finer thread than that, right? So I also had an M6 bolt. Now an M6 is 6 millimeters. It's almost exactly a quarter of an inch because a millimeter is about a 25th of an inch. So 6/25 is almost a quarter. And 6 millimeter bolts are 1 millimeter threads, which is 25 threads to the inch. So I have something that's very close to a quarter inch and 25 threads to the inch. Okay, so that's a finer pitch thread than the 20 threads to the inch. So I tried that bolt and it goes in about 6 turns. So I've got a really good guess before it kind of jams up, the threads get locked, right? So I've got a really good guess now that it's approximately maybe a little bit finer or something right around 25 threads to the inch. So I go to McMastercar.com and they have a quarter inch 28 thread screw. That's a standard fine thread quarter inch screw. They have a couple other thread pitches there, but the quarter 28, like, okay, that sounds like a totally reasonable guess. Right, so I buy 10 of those in a little package, a couple of bucks, comes next day. Yeah, nailed it. So these cap head screws that are here are quarter 28. And there's 2 on each side, and I have 10, so I have spares. Now, the rest of this aux fence is just wood. And they had like crap slotted screws that were holding that in there. And I've replaced all of those with T20 Torx 2-inch wood screws. So now I have it's pretty flat, it's pretty level across here, and this is an old rip jig that I made a long time ago, and it's not great, but it's good enough for an edge guide. So I'm going to set this to 4.5 inches and rip one of these other 9.5 inch boards down to 2 4.5s. So yeah, okay, that's kind of janky. Not a great way to measure a rip fence on a bandsaw, but yeah, you know what? Close enough for what I need. This is just, you know, the rough cut timber that's going on the outside, so let's screw this down and make some cuts. So here's this roller stand is not doing anything, it's just sitting here. These new ones are too short, as you can see, for the bandsaw. They work good for the radial arm, and they'll work good for the table saw. I might get a longer just piece of box. It's just a piece of box metal. I could remount this and make it longer. I added this box under here. As you can see, I got the hose from the shop vac going into it. It doesn't do very much, as you can see by the dust that's on the table. It doesn't help very much. There's this gap all the way around this thing. I need to seal up if I'm really going to try and pull any, you know, dust down through it. So there's holes I drilled in the table. This is hollow, so there's now holes through here that go into that box. I need to seal the whole thing up. It was a nice experiment, and I just need to make it better. But we'll get there. Also, the orange cable from the shop vac is running to an extension cord that, I don't know if you can see that, runs out the door because the bandsaw pulls just about as much power as I can source on that temporary socket that I've tapped off of from in my garage. So I can run the shop vac and the bandsaw at the same time, but if I bog the bandsaw down at all, it'll trip the breaker off, and I'm in lights and lose lights and everything. So the shop vac's actually running on a separate circuit on the outside of my garage. Yeah, well, it's entirely too dark. Maybe you can see right here. Got that narrow board in. Got that narrow board in. Phone's trying to do focusy auto exposure things, but looks great out here from at night. I'm super happy. Okay. So I have like 7-inch boards to put in between the pairs of windows, the outside pairs of windows. I'll get those measured and cut in the next couple of days, maybe. I don't know. Saturday is going to rain. Sunday I've got a barbershop concert in the evening and church in the morning. So I might not get anything done on Sunday. If the rain holds off tomorrow, we'll see how much we can get done. But yeah, we're getting there. Oh yeah, and I forgot to talk about this table. I bought this at a auction. Somebody who was liquidating their marble and granite shop in Baltimore. The legs are blue and all rusted, and we basically wire brushed them down real good and painted them green. And the top had AstroTurf all over it. They were laying, big slabs of marble and granite on it. And it all had all this stone dust embedded in it, so we got a power washer and washed it. Put it back together. Actually, originally, you can see there's 3 2x6s in there. It originally had 5, that nail hole right there. And it had 2 more in it, and I was like, I don't need those. It makes it a lot heavier. So it's still way overbuilt, even for what I need. Even with 2 of them out of there, I could probably take the 3rd one out. But the middle one seemed to be reasonable to leave. So now I got a bit of a workstation. This backboard is just screwed up here, just keep things from falling off the back. But that's an interesting look as to kind of how what my plan is to do the inside of the shop. Cut all the board's ends off and do all the horizontals. So I got 3 more cut here. I can rip these to width, what they'll fit in between those narrow windows, and yeah, getting there. Hey, welcome back to the shop. all those boards all around the windows are all done. I got to put the wide boards across the bottom there. Don't look too close, they're a little ragged along the bottom. I thought I had that ledger board I put up level, but apparently not. Do I care? Not really. I'm certainly not going to do anything about it. I figured out there's like well over 1,000 screws already in the boards in this, and I got a long way to go. But that's a great result. And it said it's Friday the 14th of April. It's an off Friday for me from my day job. And got the metal ordered for the roof. Yeah, you see I still have nothing up top there. We'll see where that's going. I think I'm going to try and do that as horizontal flat slats. Split some of the poplar down the middle with the bandsaw and resaw it down the middle, make it 1/2 inch wide. Put that up there horizontal. We'll see where that goes. I'm also going to put along the can I coordinate this along the rafters here? I'm actually going to run the roof out another 16 inches. I got enough 16-foot 2x4s to do that, and some blocks in between, and it won't be any big deal. That means one more piece of sheet metal, but I already ordered more than enough to do that. So sheet metal for the roof total came out to just about $3,900. John S. Wilson Company out in I don't know whether they're in Howard or Carroll County. They're in, just a little west of here. They deal with a company called Marco Metals, and that's the metal roofing I used for the front porch. And so I know what it is to put that in, and Caleb from church is going to come help me. So he's done a lot of metal roofs on barns and stuff. So metal should be here end of, not this next week, so not the 21st, but the following week. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I don't know what day they're actually going to get here. But so anyhow, that's a good milestone there, and it looks pretty good. There's a lot of wood up there. There's a lot of little pieces up there. The pieces above the windows are 20.5, and the pieces below the windows are 13.5. So I had to cut a whole lot of little pieces. But now having the bandsaw and the radial arm in the shop means that goes pretty quick. It's more about drilling, 128 holes, 180, 92 holes or something for all the screws. That was a lot. All right, thanks. More later.